Hey there, welcome back to the Women's Business Workshop podcast. I'm Robin Walker, small business advisor for entrepreneurs and your go-to source whenever you are not sure what to do next in your business. If you do not have a business coach or mastermind group already supporting you, guiding your strategy, and encouraging that sticky follow-through, I invite you to join us in the Impact Business Circle. You and I will work together one-on-one on your signature business framework. This is like a business plan specifically for entrepreneurs. We'll work on goal setting and your next action steps. But you also get to be a part of the owner's mastermind where you get feedback and input from other seasoned business owners. It's also a place to meet up when you want to maybe vent, celebrate, or just get some more help between calls. This is the perfect time to take the step in order to make the upcoming business year more intentional, consistent, and stable. Doesn't that sound luxurious? You can take the next step with a no-risk, no-commitment application. Check the show notes for details. Today is going to be a fun episode. We are talking about something every single business owner deals with, including myself, the way you plan your business or the way you don't. Over the years working with hundreds of business owners, I've noticed the same patterns pop up again and again. We all approach business planning in our own way, and those tendencies can either help us grow or quietly sabotage our progress. Today, I want to introduce you to the 6 business planning types that I see in entrepreneurs. This is not meant to judge. This is just something fun, but I think it's important to see where you might be holding yourself back and also where you're making things harder than they need to be. These are all common, so don't be too hard on yourself. I think the point is recognizing where you see yourself and then deciding how you're going to make some changes. I created a quiz to help you determine which type you are, and you can find that on my website. The link is in the show notes if you want to stop and do that first. If not, keep listening. I'll share about each of the different 6 types that I'm outlining, and you can see which one feels the most like you. I will share the type, how it holds someone back, and what to do instead. You may even find yourself represented in multiple categories depending on the season of life or business, or maybe you're just an overachiever. So go grab a notebook and let's get started. Starting off at number 1 is the sticky note strategist. The sticky note strategist has so many ideas. You love learning, you love listening to podcasts, you grab every freebie, you've considered 3 new offers before lunchtime. That energy is amazing, and not everyone is good at coming up with ideas. For some reason, I feel like entrepreneurs are really good at ideas, but the challenge is nothing gets finished because you're drowning in information and you've become a collector of strategies instead of a collector of results. Ideas are really great, but I do think when we're spending time creating ideas, instead of putting action steps in place, or we have a plan and we're avoiding it because we're listening to a podcast on a completely unrelated topic than what our goals are about and what we're supposed to be focusing on. This is coming from someone who has a podcast, who, of course, I hope you listen to my episodes, but as a coach, it's really important you stay focused on what your one focus is right now, because all of these ideas, as exciting as they are, they get really overwhelming. And so obviously the way it holds you back by being this type of planner, just collecting ideas, is that your mental clutter makes decision making almost impossible because you have so many great ideas. So what helps with this? Number 1, I always suggest that my clients have a someday list. Your someday list is a document, and that is the key. It needs to be a document where you log in any future ideas that you want to remember. This is a holding space. This is not a take action on right in this exact moment space. This will help you with that shiny object syndrome. When you get a new idea, and let's say you do put it on a Post-it, I'm a huge fan of the sticky notes, put it on the sticky note, but then at some point you need to go through those sticky notes and put those ideas in the right place so that they are documented. Then your brain can release. You can move on. And when it's time to do real planning, when you finish the goal that you're currently working on and you're looking for new ideas, that's when you can go to your someday list and take a peek. Or let's say you're planning a new event and that is your new focus and you knew you had some ideas in the past, then you can go back to your someday list. So number one, have a someday list. Have it documented, whether that's a simple Google Doc or it's a physical notebook, just somewhere where you keep all these great ideas so that you can release them until the time is right. The other thing that helps is having some kind of filter, and that's usually your business plan, or if it's social media ideas, this is your social media strategy. This is the plan, and the plan helps you decide what actually moves the needle in your business and what is worth deciding to do. When you have your data and you have your plan, then you know what works. So coming up with something brand new that's totally out of the box, that's awesome. You can use your plan then to determine or at least give you some good strategy on whether that new idea is going to move the needle for you and if it's worth pursuing. This is where also, of course, coaching and structured planning with your time becomes essential. When you have someone holding you accountable that you already decided on something, and so a new idea is not okay right now, we need to stick with what you were going to do, because I do find a lot of times people just do not let the idea have enough time to work and they move right on to that next idea. So if you're an idea person, start your someday list if you don't have one. If not, resurrect it, remind yourself to use it, and then also have some kind of plan or strategy in your business that's your first focus. That's the thing you're working on right now. And then just consume your media and content based on that one first focus. It's going to help. It's going to help you a lot. And keep bringing those ideas. I mean, you're talking to someone who, my number 5 on the Gallup Strength Finders is ideation. So this one is constantly a struggle for me. You should see my Post-it notes. But they all go into the proper document, and then I throw the Post-it away, and I can be released of the brain power of trying to remember and hold on to those ideas. And they do come in handy down the road, but not every idea is meant to be acted on. So how many of you are the sticky note strategist? You got all the ideas, but nothing really gets finished. All right, moving on to number 2 is the one day at a time operator. You are capable, you're productive, and honestly, you're in demand. But you are so busy doing the work that you never have time to look ahead. Planning feels like a luxury, and it's something that future you is going to handle. You might be the person that says, when I get done with this, I swear I'm going to plan for this. Like you're planning for the year. I am going to get it done. Just right now, I am too busy. There's no way I have time for that planning event. There's no way I have time for a conference. Planning's a luxury. I am just too busy right now. Now, how this holds you back? Well, number 1, the planning never gets done. That's an obvious one. But you're constantly reacting instead of directing. As things come in, you react to them instead of ever stopping and structuring the future so that when those things happen, they're automated, delegated, systematized. So you're not reacting as your whole day of business is just reacting. So when you're this type of planner, you're productive. You are getting stuff done. Whether it's productive procrastination tasks or not, you're getting things done. However, your stress level stays high, even when things are going well, because you are reacting day to day. You're putting out fires, you're doing what you have to do, and there's not that peace and hopefulness that comes with having some kind of plan. And those of you who plan or you've had a plan, whether you put it in motion or not, there's some hopefulness, there's some relief. When you know you have a plan, whether you go look at it or not, you know it's there. So if you're just working one day at a time and never stopping, something that can help, obviously, is to step out of your day-to-day and map out your big picture. Even a couple of hours can change your stress level and the trajectory of your year or your quarter. I know it seems like a luxury to step out of your business. I have yet to find a business owner that cannot find a way to step out. There's a lot of excuses around why you can't step out or why your family needs you too much. So you can't ever work at a time that's not ideal because your family needs you. I get that. I've been there. I raised 3 kids while my husband worked 16-hour days. I've been there. I get it. But if you are stressed, continuing the way you're doing it is not going to be the answer. Things aren't going to get better if you don't ever step out of your day and map out that big picture. Pick a time. If you have young kids, in our mastermind group, we have come up with creative ideas on how to step out of your business, whether it's because you're super busy with business tasks and you don't have enough help yet, or whether that means you need to work on a Saturday morning and we need to help you find creative ways to have your kids taken care of during that time. We've figured it out in our group before. You can do it. So those of you who are the one day at a time operator, we need you to find some time to step out, do some mapping out, even if it's just the next month. It really makes a difference. And you as the CEO, starting to do that regularly leads to having CEO days where you can plan for yourself. You are going to feel more confident as a leader. You're going to feel more confident in your revenue and the profit that you're bringing home to your family. But you have to be the one to decide, I can step out of my business, I can do some planning, and I'm going to figure it out. All right, how many of you are the one day at a time operator? All right, let's go on to number 3. Number 3 is the avoider. You swear you'll plan, but first, you need to just finish this task and respond to that client and fix that thing. And then, well, planning gets bumped again. I will get to it. I see this happen with yearly planning all the time. I'll get a call in February, March from someone saying, I never did my yearly plan. I never mapped it out. Is it too late? Of course not. I love planning in quarters, even if you can't get a yearly plan done. But again, this is similar to the last ones. Maybe you like planning, you just never make it a priority. Avoiding planning doesn't mean you're lazy. It just might mean that planning feels heavy. It feels like directly looking at your business instead of just running it. And guess what? Sometimes that's uncomfortable. If you are not confident as a business owner or in your ability to bring in revenue, or you're the type that avoids looking at finances, looking at sales numbers or data, that's okay. And I will tell you, it's really normal. It's scary sometimes. And sometimes when you have to look at the truth, that's hard. And if you're the owner and you're the entrepreneur and it all rests on your shoulders, then if you look at something and you are afraid to see what it is, you're not very happy with it, it's hard to not blame yourself. What part of planning makes you uncomfortable and why do you keep avoiding it? How this holds you back is your avoidance keeps you stuck in uncertainty. And that uncertainty can create anxiety or lack of confidence in your business or you as a business owner. Because you don't have any kind of plan, that uncertainty is what makes us make bad decisions. It's what makes us say yes to clients or opportunities we should not be saying yes to because we are not certain about what comes next. So what helps the avoider is some gentle accountability. The avoider obviously is dealing with some potentially anxiety or something around your business that feels a little scary or heavy. So in this situation, you might need some gentle accountability. We're not looking for the drill sergeant that's going to shame you or be mad at you or that you're afraid to share any failures with. We're looking for some gentle accountability, whatever that looks like to you. That might be a friend. It might be a right fit coach. It might be a group, but you're just looking for some gentle accountability to get it started. Another thing that might help is just some structure that feels supportive but not overwhelming. The avoider is not looking for this enormous, huge plan that is just going to add more overwhelm. Let's just start with some small structure. What's something in your business that you could build a little structure around that feels good, that makes things feel less heavy and makes you feel a little more confident? All right, number 4, the perfectionist planner. You love the idea of planning. You probably have the planner, if not more than one. You've got the pens, you've got the highlighters, you've got the sticky notes in multiple different colors. You love a good Excel sheet, and I'm sure your Excel or your Google Sheet has all the right formulas, lots of pretty colors, coordination, a lot of tabs. But you're waiting for the perfect idea, the perfect plan, the perfect time. So you are planning, but you put so much time into the plan to be perfect that maybe it's too elaborate. Maybe it has too many working parts. You have too many plans. If you're a solopreneur especially, I know you're handling all the things. So we need to have a plan where we're focusing on one thing at a time. And this falls into goals too. Sometimes people who are really overachieving planners and love the planning process have 4 different goals. But the problem is those goals are competing with your time. Focusing on this goal means you do this activities, but focusing on this goal means this activity. And those activities don't match or align. So you're jumping from one plan to the next and you actually feel more overwhelmed. So if you look at your sheets and you feel good because it gives you clarity and you know your action steps, that's one thing. If you look at them and you like them because they look really pretty, but you don't actually do anything with the data, or it's not helping you get more clients or find more time, then it doesn't really help you at all. So the way this holds you back is that the waiting for the perfect idea, the perfect plan, the perfect time becomes procrastination disguised as preparation. So you're doing planning, I'm doing air quotes here, you're doing planning, but it's not the planning you need right now. And it's just pretty planning. It's not actually intentional and going to help you to get to the next level. So what helps? Sometimes we're just looking for a simple, imperfect plan. Don't cringe. That you can refine later. This is when you do a good map out or a brain dump or a brainstorm. And you don't have every single little tiny piece figured out. You just need to move forward with a simple and perfect plan. And I'll work with women and we work through their whole business plan and we've got it ready. But I know they are this type of planner. And so we pick one small chunk to work on next, one small thing. And you can make it pretty if you want, but it's not overwhelming and it's not a million different things at once. It's just one small, imperfect plan that you give yourself permission for it to be done instead of perfect. And it's something that you can refine as you go along. Momentum matters more than perfection. Those little steps count. And if you have so many pretty, beautiful, big plans that you don't actually do anything with them, that's not really helping. Okay, we've got 2 more. Number 5 is the partner planner. If you're someone that thrives when you go to workshops, maybe you do a co-working session, retreats, conferences, maybe working one-on-one with someone, when you plan in those environments, you get so much more clarity than when you're alone. You actually do the thing, the planning, you get things on paper, but for whatever reason, you need to get out of your own space. You need to go somewhere else. You got to be around other people, hear other advice. I know for me, I need to talk out my ideas. And so, yes, occasionally I do that by myself in my office because I know that's how my brain works. But for me, when I work with a coach, I can get through planning so much faster and and more strategically because I know I need to talk it out. I can't sit in an office and do planning by myself. That's just not efficient for me. I need to be with other people. And sometimes this is the accountability you're looking for. Someone in one of those other categories might thrive in this kind of environment because you have someone there holding you accountable to actually do the planning. However, the partner planner, the reason this doesn't always work out is because when they're in the room, they make this beautiful plan, but then once they leave the room, what happens? The plan slowly fades. Maybe it stays in the event workbook, in the bag, in your office. Maybe you look at it again at the beginning of the year or 6 months later. Again, it's a beautiful plan, but without the people still there, you don't implement it and it just kind of fades away. So obviously the way this holds you back is that there's no follow through because you lose the accountability that originally got you motivated. You needed the accountability in the group to do in the event, in the co-working session, whatever it is. You needed that accountability of the people. But then when you bring your plan home and think, well, now I'll be able to do it by myself. If you struggled to do it by yourself before, just having the plan now doesn't mean that all of a sudden you're going to work that way and be wired that way. Not having the follow through is a big problem with people who are good with planning socially unless you continue that accountability with other people afterwards. So what helps is repeat planning touch points. So let's say you go to one of those events, you ask the coach or the facilitator how you can stay in touch with them for accountability. Or maybe there's someone else at that event that you really jived with and you guys can meet once a month on Zoom or in person and hold each other accountable. However this looks for you, maybe this is a business partner, maybe you're co-owners and you're going to take these plans and meet once a month with your co-owner to actually get through these and make sure that you have that personal human accountability. When you think of other CEOs at larger companies, they all have human accountability, you guys. They all have assistants. They have bosses. They have other people that are bringing things to their attention, and they have to have things done by deadlines. When you are an entrepreneur, especially a solopreneur, we just don't have that human accountability built in. And why do we think that we need to be above that and not need it, but other people all over the world that are self-employed or that are not self-employed, they don't need that accountability. They have it and they thrive with it. So why do we think we don't need it? Okay, moving on to number 6, the wing it free spirit. You're creative, intuitive, flexible. You kind of like to plan with the wind, feel the vibes, see where it takes you. Planning may even make you feel boxed in or pressured. I know I struggle with that every now and then, saying like, who's making me do this? Oh, that's right, it's me. And sometimes the real reason is that planning requires clarity and commitment, and that can feel scary. I think at the beginning, especially if you're someone who had a different training and then became a business owner, you haven't been trained on business planning. So it makes sense you don't know how to do it. That's okay. That's normal. So then you wing it, and that can take you so far. But for most people, that is not going to get you where you want to be, and you're going to be overwhelmed, have too many things on your plate, and no hope for what's next because you're doing everything as it comes to you, similarly to the other one we mentioned. But the difference with this one is that making the plan somehow makes you feel like you're going to be trapped. And that once you have that plan, if you don't follow through on it, it'll be a failure. So if you don't make the plan, then you can't fail to complete the plan. If you don't trust yourself in your ability to hold boundaries, to implement, to know what you want to do and what you want out of this business, it's going to be harder to plan because that's going to feel scary and feel risky. This can also come into play when your life is unpredictable. This could be due to having kids. Maybe you're someone's caregiver. You are neurodivergent. You have just general business chaos. Maybe you took over a business. Whatever that is, when it's unpredictable, not planning feels easier. and less risky. The problem is that makes you stay very vague. If you're in the middle, then you're not really failing at anything, but you're also not really succeeding at anything because you're not setting goals. So maybe it's at the end of the year, you figure out how much you made and you're like, okay, that's good. That's good enough. Or you're completely disappointed. But not having those goals, yes, there's a risk you're not going to achieve them. That's a real risk. And for some people, they don't want to set themselves up for something that they may fail at because they're already trying to do a business they don't know how to do, and that already feels risky. So we're just going to wing it because that feels safer. What helps with this is if you can find, however it works for you, but a flexible, let's say spacious planning style, something that supports you without suffocating your identity. We need to find something that has structure, but also allows for some unpredictability in your life so that you don't feel boxed in. What I've figured out over 15, 20 years in business is I have to have the structure, the accountability, and someone, a human, that is helping me stay on track. It is too easy to let the flexibility of being a small business owner get in the way of structured growth. So even if you're someone that feels like, I just want to run my business on vibes, that's okay. That I may not be the coach for you. But I think there's a way to combine, and this is what I try to do with people, is find, what does your real life look like? What are those unpredictable things that are in your personal life that then do affect how much time and energy you have for your business? What are those things? What's your special skills? What do you actually want your business to look like? And then we find ways for you to build that. Ways you can put boundaries in, ways you can get support so that all parts of your life do not feel unpredictable. Sometimes you need the words, you need the permission, you need the ideas for how to create mom life, personal life, business life, and how to blend them all together. But I'm going to tell you, winging it and on vibes is not the way. If you want to feel confident and stable and consistent, it's really hard to do both. So for the wing it person, we're looking for a planning style that fits you, but also is going to kick your butt sometimes and keep you and hold you accountable. Because if you want to run a consistent business, you have to show up consistently and provide that consistency to your clients, or they're not going to feel like they can trust you and rely on you. So here's the thing with the 6, hopefully you guys found one that is what you say is your planning style. And again, it might be depending on your phase of business or your phase of life. They may be different at different times. But here's the thing. None of these types are bad. And the reason I could come up with them so easily is that they are so common. I've had clients that have fit every single one of these, multiple, and that's why I can tell you in general, these are the 6 type of planners that I see. They're simply patterns. Patterns change once you understand them, once you see them in yourself. I realize not everyone likes planning, not everyone is built as a planning type person, but I bet there's somewhere in your life that if you consider yourself not a planner, I bet there's somewhere in your life that you are planning successfully, whether that is for a vacation or that is for your child's party at school, or it is for date night with your husband, or it's an Excel sheet because you're selling your house and you have all the different steps you need. There's somewhere in your life that you are planning well. Figure out what is it about that you enjoy. How is it working for you? And see if you can apply that to your business. Sometimes the easiest thing is just the next small step. It's picking one part of your business you're going to start planning for. It doesn't need to be all of them at once. When we work together, we start with one, and I have a process we're going to go through to be able to build on the last one we worked on. So I'm not expecting you to overhaul everything and come up with a brand new business model. You just need a little bit of structure, maybe some support, and a space where you can finally take action on what you know works. And if you don't know what's working, that's the first step. I'd be happy to do this with you guys. This is like my love language is planning and strategy in your business. I end the calls being so excited for my clients to be able to offer what they love to offer in the way that they can make impact in the world. And it would be an honor to work with you. So if you are looking for a little help with your planning, you can go to the link in the show notes. We can do one-on-one coaching where we start with your business plan. I've got all the stuff. I have everything for you. You just need to show up and we will go through it all together to get whether that's the signature business framework, so it's your entrepreneurial business plan, or we can get you one step at a time, one session at a time, whichever works for your planning style. And when you do a little bit of planning, your future business will thank you. You will be happy later that you did the planning. Just as a reminder, you can find the quiz to determine which planning style is yours. You can find that in our show notes. You can also visit our social media accounts and comment with your planning style and join the conversation. I appreciate you and I thank you for listening. Now go get back to work.